Mr. Football is headed to the Jets. With the 43rd pick, the Jets selecting Joe Tippmann, center out of Wisconsin. At 6'6", Tippmann stands taller than your prototypical center, but carries with him smarts and athleticism that fits any run scheme. He'll look to shore up the middle of that Aaron Rodgers-led offense. Rick Spielman, Ryan Wilson in with reaction. Tippmann making his way to the New York Jets. Obviously, you got to go get some help for the new quarterback. As you assess the talent, the size, the skill, he is a center, but possibility of him being moved out of that position at the next level.
Yeah, and he is athletic enough to move to guard. And I don't know, since they weren't able to address the offensive tackle position,
right,
maybe because of his length and his athleticism, that they may look at him as a potential right offensive tackle or left offensive tackle.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, that just came into my head. It's amazing what comes into my head.
The body type tells a story, Ryan. I mean, it would be quite the move from the middle to the outside, but just the talent that's being brought into the building. He was your center one. How do you grade him out here with the match in New York?
Yeah, I had him going a middle of the second round grade, which I know impressed you when I told you that a moment ago. Rick, I've talked to you about this before. You can have 6'6" centers if they can bend. I had a conversation with a scout that told me the same thing this morning. It is not necessarily common to see a 6'6" center, but his physicality, his ability to bend at the snap is what got him to this point. And to your point, it'll be interesting to see how far to his right or to his left that he ends up moving, because Mekhi Becton is a question mark. Elijah Vera Tucker's their tackle move to guard. They have Max Mitchell, who they like a lot. He's still a young football player. But the other takeaway for me, Joe, is that in the first round, they had to go with Will McDonald, and they say had because I think they wanted to
They got stuck.
They got stuck, and sometimes that happens. And
Belichick.
And I'll ask you this quickly. Sometimes you come away with a first-round pick that you necessarily didn't want.
Yeah, no, that happens. And when you watch the New York Jets and you watch that clock stop ticking down, I know what they're doing in that draft room. They are calling everybody, including their mother, to see if they can get a trade. And they weren't able to get a trade, so they ended up taking the player who was probably the highest on their board. And I think the same thing happened a little bit with Detroit in their first pick. I think they were really locked in on Witherspoon because that's a Dan Campbell corner, and he went to Seattle. So they went the next best thing that they can get, and ended up with the pick they had.
Not a bad consolation prize in Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, whether he's got his hand on the ball or he's kick sliding on the outside, you got one job. Keep number 8 in green upright. Joe Tippmann joining Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Here's a look at that protection a year ago. Different quarterback, different offense, different expectation, to be fair. And the expectation is clear in New York. Win right now with number 8 in green.